The signal came without warning. It wasn't a distress call. It wasn't a threat. It was a single word repeated again and again in hundreds of alien languages. Why? The year was 2197. Earth had reached the stars. Colonies existed on Mars, Europa, and even on the edge of Saturn's rings. Space was no longer empty. It was human territory. But this message came from beyond human space, from the black, cold void where no ship had ever returned. At first, scientists thought it was a trick, a cosmic echo, a fake signal, but the deeper they studied it, the more frightened they became. The energy signature wasn't natural. The technology behind it was more advanced than anything on Earth. It twisted gravity, folded time, and changed the way their satellites behaved. They tried to answer it with logic, science, and peace. No response. That the message just repeated. Why? The United Earth Council held emergency meetings. World leaders argued. Generals prepared fleets. Scientists warned of risks. Then, a single voice in the room spoke up. General Ava Hadley of the Terran Defense Corps. Don't send a diplomat, she said. Send a Marine. Sergeant Jack Rains wasn't born to be polite. He had a scar running across his eyebrow from a knife fight in Jupiter orbit. His file listed 3 official warnings, 2 battlefield commendations, and a confirmed body count higher than some small wars. He was trained to fight in ZG, survive in radiation, and kill with whatever he could grab. But today, his mission was different. You want me to talk to aliens? He asked, confused, standing in the launch bay of Earth's most advanced stealth shuttle. No, General Hadley said. We want you to represent us. Jack raised an eyebrow. With a gun, with your mind, she replied. But yeah, keep the gun, just in case. The shuttle was small, fast, and blacker than space itself. It didn't have weapons. It didn't need them. It was built to sneak in and sneak out of dangerous zones. Jack climbed in without asking more questions. He wasn't a scientist. He wasn't a philosopher. He was a weapon with a voice. 3 days passed in cold silence. Jack floated alone in the dark shuttle. No stars. No signals. Only the hum of the engine and the soft rhythm of his own heartbeat. Then it happened. The stars bent. The void rippled. And the shuttle simply disappeared from Earth's scanners. When Jack opened his eyes, he wasn't in his ship anymore. He stood in the center of a giant alien room. The floor was smooth and silver. The walls shimmered like water. He could breathe, but the air felt too clean, too perfect. He wasn't alone. Dozens of alien eyes stared at him from behind a transparent barrier. Tall creatures with long necks, short, thick beings with skin like stone, floating orbs with no face at all. All of them watched silently. Jack raised his hand slowly. Anyone want to tell me where the hell I am? A flash of light blinded him for a second. Then a voice, calm and deep, echoed in English. You are inside the circle of judgment. He turned around. A figure stepped forward, tall, thin, wearing a robe of glowing threads. The alien had no mouth, but Jack could hear the voice clearly in his head. We sent a question. Your kind responded with you. Why? Jack crossed his arms. That's funny. I was about to ask the same thing. The circle of judgment was an old tradition among the ancient races. When a species reached a certain level of power, they were called to answer for their behavior. Most civilizations answered with logic and humility. They sent scholars, wise leaders, spiritual guides. Earth sent Jack Rains. The alien continued speaking. We see your wars, your machines of death. You burn worlds to survive. You destroy even when you have peace. Why are you like this? Jack laughed, a dry sound that echoed strangely in the alien chamber. Because peace never lasts. You think humans enjoy war? No. But we don't pretend evil doesn't exist. We fight to live. The alien's glowing eyes narrowed. You call that survival? You are chaos in flesh. We study thousands of races. None are like you. Damn right, Jack said. Because none of them fight back like we do. Suddenly, metal clamps shot from the floor and locked around his arms and legs. He didn't panic. Instead, he stared at the aliens and smiled. Testing me already. That was quick. They took him through long glowing halls. No doors. No windows. The aliens didn't speak. They watched, recorded, measured his heartbeat, his brainwaves, even his memories. They showed him holograms of Earth's history, wars, genocides, bombs, slavery. They wanted guilt, regret, a confession, but Jack gave them none. Yes, he said, we've made mistakes. We've hurt each other. We've done things we're not proud of. But we also did something else. What? Asked the voice. We learned. We grew. And when the universe pushed us, he broke the restraints by slamming his arm against the sharp edge of the wall, using his own strength to snap a joint. We pushed back. He grabbed a piece of broken alien metal and hurled it at the wall. It shattered. Sirens bled. The watching aliens scattered in confusion. Jack ran. He didn't know where he was going, but he didn't care. He saw an open corridor and followed it. The Shipwar station was massive, built in ways that hurt the human brain to understand. Gravity shifted in strange directions. Lights pulsed like veins, but Jack didn't slow down. Finally, he reached a chamber filled with glass tubes. Inside them were humans, hundreds of them, sleeping, frozen. Some wore military uniforms, others were scientists, even children. Holy hell, Jack whispered. The voice returned. They were taken before. We studied them. They were weak. You are different. Jack's fists clenched. You kidnapped our people, you judged us before we even knew you existed, and you call us the monsters. The voice said nothing. He turned to the largest screen he could find, smashed the panel, and began broadcasting. He didn't know if Earth could hear him, but he had to try. This is Sergeant Jack Rains, he said into the void. Aliens have our people, they want answers. I've got one. They're scared of us, and they should be, because I'm not alone. Earth is coming. Far away, on Earth, General Hadley watched a sudden burst of data appear on her screen. Jack's signal, weak, broken but alive. She turned to her command crew. Get the fleet ready. We're not sending words this time. Back on the alien vessel, Jack stood alone, facing an army of guards. Dozens of strange weapons pointed at him. He didn't move, didn't flinch, just smiled. You wanted to know why humans are dangerous, he said. Because one of us is enough to shake your empire. The alien guards did not move. Their eyes glowed cold in the dark hall. They had never seen a human like Jack Rains before. He stood tall, calm, and unafraid, despite dozens of weapons aimed at him. The alien leader appeared again. Its voice was calm but heavy. You are dangerous. You bring chaos where there should be order. Jack smiled, showing his teeth. Order? You mean control? You want to own the galaxy? You want to decide who lives and who dies? The leader's eyes flickered. We protect peace. Jack laughed. Peace? Your peace is a cage. I've seen what you do to planets that resist. You destroy them, burn them to ash. The aliens said nothing. Instead, they activated strange machines that scanned Jack's mind. They searched for fear, for weakness, but Jack's mind was steel. Why do you ask why? He shouted. Maybe you already know. A cold voice answered. Because understanding brings control. Jack's eyes burned. You don't want answers. You want to break us. Double quotes. Suddenly, the room shook. An alarm sounded. Red lights flashed. Ship under attack. A voice shouted. Jack smiled wider. About time. Outside Earth's hidden fleet had arrived. Silent ships appeared like ghosts from nowhere, weapons ready. They fired on the alien station with precision and power. Inside, the aliens panicked. The leader turned to Jack. You started this. Jack shrugged. No, you did. I'm just the spark. He ripped the alien control panel from the wall and smashed it on the floor. Let's see how you like the fight. Jack moved fast. The alien guards charged, but he was faster. He dodged their energy blasts and knocked down two with his bare hands. His training took over. He fought with skill, strength, and rage. But this was only the beginning. Outside the battle raged. Earth's ships fought the alien fleet with weapons unknown before. The galaxy was watching. Jack knew he had to reach the command center of the alien station. If he could take control, maybe he could end this fight. With a burst of speed, he ran down glowing corridors, dodged traps, and fought off guards. When he reached the command center, he saw the alien leader waiting. The leader spoke. You have strength, but strength alone will not save your people. Jack smiled. Maybe not, but strength and will. That's something you don't understand. He lunged forward. The fight was fierce. The leader was fast, with powers Jack had never seen. But Jack was stubborn. He never gave up. Finally, Jack landed a blow that sent the leader crashing into the control panels. The screens flickered. The alarms stopped. The fight slowed. Jack looked around. The station was silent except for his own breathing. He reached for the communication console. This is Earth, he said. We are not your enemies, but we will fight if you threaten us. Far away, in the darkness of space, Earth's fleet waited for Jack's signal. They heard it, and they moved forward. The war for the galaxy had begun. The Tribunal of Minds was the most powerful council in the galaxy. 6 ancient species ruled from its dark halls. They claimed to bring peace, order, and justice to all life, but they ruled through fear, not fairness. For 1,000 years they had passed judgment on younger civilizations. Some were spared. Most were crushed now. For the first time ever, the accused had fought back, and the tribunal was angry. Jack Rains stood in a circular chamber surrounded by alien giants. Each one was from a different species, tall, short, thick-skinned, slim, floating. All of them stared at him with cold, glowing eyes. He was the only human in the room. No weapons, no backup, no way out. But he didn't look afraid. Jack stood tall, with blood still on his knuckles and dirt on his uniform. His voice was calm. So, which one of you wants to ask the next dumb question? One of the tribunal members, a creature with long arms and a head like a glowing crystal, spoke first. We did not expect your kind to send a warrior. We expected a diplomat. Jack tilted his head. Well, maybe next time you don't kidnap our people and freeze them in tubes. Another voice followed, deep, echoing like a storm. You misunderstand. We do not attack. We observe. We test. Jack took a step forward. Test this, he said. How would you react if your children were taken from their homes and studied like bugs? Silence filled the chamber. The floating being in the back hummed softly. Your kind has always been strange, violent, unpredictable. You build machines for killing. Your history is covered in blood. A giant screen appeared behind them, showing clips of Earth's past wars, nuclear bombs, genocide, tanks rolling through cities. Another alien pointed. This is who you are. Jack didn't flinch. He stared at the screen. Yeah, he said. We've done all that. We've made mistakes. Big ones. But do you know what we also did? The screen changed. Now it showed people helping each other during disasters. Soldiers rescuing civilians. Firefighters running into burning buildings. Families rebuilding homes after war. We learned, we fought, we rebuilt, we didn't stop growing. You look at our pain but you don't see our progress. The crystal-headed alien leaned forward. And still, you chose to fight. You sent a soldier. Why? Jack's face turned serious. Because a soldier speaks the one language you truly understand, strength. The tribunal paused. They spoke in whispers among themselves, using a strange alien language Jack couldn't follow. He waited. Then, the central platform rose, lifting a glowing sphere high into the air. It projected something strange into the middle of the room, a human face. But it wasn't Jack. It was a woman, older, tired, scared. Her name is Dr. Eliza Moore, said the voice. She was taken from Earth 60 years ago. She was part of our first observation. The woman's image blinked. Her eyes looked at Jack like she recognized him. Are you real? She asked. Are you really from Earth? Jack stepped closer. Yeah, I'm real. We're coming for you, for all of you. Tears filled her eyes. But then the image disappeared. Jack turned to the aliens. You've been kidnapping our people for decades, studying them in secret, and now you judge us for being dangerous. The floating being replied, yes, because you are dangerous. The others we tested submitted. You fight, that makes you unpredictable. Jack's jaw tightened. You call it danger, we call it freedom. Suddenly, one of the tribunal members, slim with bright green skin, spoke in a softer tone. Not all of us agree. I have watched humans closely. I've seen your art, your music, your love. You are not just weapons. The others turned sharply. You defend them. The crystal alien snapped. I question our actions, said the green one. We fear what we do not understand. And humans, they are unlike anything we have met. Jack looked at him. You get it. We're not perfect, but we're real. The room filled with tension. Then, the decision came. The tribunal's leader rose from his chair. His voice was sharp. We have seen enough. Earth is a danger to the galaxy. Their kind must be contained. You, Sergeant Jack Rains, are sentenced to memory erasure. You will be returned to Earth with no knowledge of this place. Your world will be isolated. Jack didn't move. He waited. Then he smiled. You think that's going to stop us? Suddenly, the chamber lights flickered. A loud, deep sound echoed through the walls. Then a voice not alien spoke over the loudspeaker. Sergeant Rains, this is command. Extraction incoming. Hold position. Jack grinned. Took you long. Enough. The tribunal looked confused. One alien turned to the others. How did they find us? This station is cloaked between dimensions. Jack laughed. You studied our weapons, but you forgot to study our minds. We don't stop. We never stop. A sudden blast ripped through the ceiling. Earth's dropship descended with fire and smoke, breaking into the sacred chamber. Armed soldiers in advanced exosuits stormed in. Jack waved casually. Miss me. The alien guards tried to resist, but it was too late. Earth's team was fast, brutal, and smart. They moved with precision like ghosts. Jack grabbed the green-skinned alien and pulled him from the line of fire. You said you believed in us. Jack shouted over the gunfire. Now's your chance to prove it. The alien hesitated, then nodded. Minutes later, the tribunal chamber was in ruins. The Earth team escaped with Jack and the friendly alien. They had captured data, recordings, and most importantly a message. Jack sent it as they left. To all alien races still under the tribunal's control. You are not alone. Earth stands with you. Back on the Earth ship, Jack sat in the medbay. His knuckles were bloody, his body bruised, but he smiled as he looked out the window. The stars didn't seem so far away anymore. The friendly alien sat beside him. What, now? The alien asked. Jack leaned back and whispered, now we tell the galaxy the truth. The tribunal wanted answers. Well, Earth's got a few of its own. The galaxy was changing. The tribunal's secrets were exposed. The enslaved species were waking up. The war had begun. On board the USS Valiant, Captain Reyes stood at the command deck. Jack Raines stood beside her, battle-worn but unbroken. Outside, fleets gathered. Not just Earth's ships, not just the Veilkin, the Maradi, or the ZOTH. Thousands of ships from hundreds of species, all united. For the first time, ready the fleets. Reyes said. Jack checked his rifle. After everything, this is it. The Valiant jumped into slipspace with the combined fleet behind it. Their target, the tribunal homeworld. The tribunal was ready. Massive warships, weapons humming with power, waited in orbit. The sky burned with laser fire and plasma storms. The battle was brutal. Ships exploded in fireballs. Marines fought in zero gravity, leaping between hulls. Jack led his squad through ruined corridors, facing alien soldiers bred for war. But Earth's soldiers fought harder, stronger, with a fire the tribunal had never seen. In the heart of the capital city, Jack reached the tribunal. Leader's fortress, the silver-skinned being awaited him. You are persistent, it said, but you cannot win. Jack smiled. We don't have to win. We only have to survive. He raised his rifle. Outside, the battle raged on. The United Fleet pushed forward. Fighters dodged missile storms. Capital ships fired super weapons. Earth's flagship Valiant took heavy damage but kept fighting. Inside the fortress, Jack and the tribunal leader clashed. Fists, weapons, wills. The fight was savage, but Jack's determination was unbreakable. He fought not just for Earth, but for every enslaved species. For freedom. The final moment came. Jack landed. A blow that shattered the tribunal leader's armor. The being collapsed. Defeated. The silence was deafening. Across the galaxy, the tribunal fleets began to retreat. The Empire was falling apart. The people were free. Back on the Valiant, Jack looked out at the stars. We did it, he whispered. Reyes smiled. This is only the beginning. The galaxy would never be the same. Earth was no longer a small blue planet. It was a symbol, a beacon, a warrior. The war had not yet begun, but Earth was already preparing for the worst. Back in the Sol system, aboard the massive Titan-class warship USS Valiant, the mood was grim but focused. Captain Reyes stood on the command deck, staring at the holographic map of the galaxy. Red dots showed enemy strongholds. Blue ones marked allied systems. But most of the galaxy was still gray. Unknown, watching, waiting, and in the center of the map, a blinking green light pulsed. Jack Raines was coming home. Jack sat quietly inside the dropship as it approached the Valiant. He hadn't said much since leaving the tribunal station. His eyes were distant, his body bruised, and his mind full of questions. Beside him sat Drake, the green-skinned alien who had chosen to defect from the tribunal. Jack looked at him. You know they'll come after us now. Dractyl nodded slowly. Yes, the tribunal does not forgive betrayal, but they also don't understand Earth. They don't understand you. Jack smiled faintly. Yeah, that's their first mistake. As soon as the dropship docked with the USS Valiant, Jack stepped onto the deck to a small welcoming crew. Captain Reyes, several Marines, and a few curious scientists. Reyes approached him. Sergeant Raines, good to have you back. You stirred up a hornet's nest. Jack gave a half smile. I was just answering their questions. They didn't like the answers. Reyes glanced at Dractyl. Is he with us? Jack nodded. He's the only one who saw what's coming, and wants to stop it. Dractyl bowed respectfully. I come with knowledge of the tribunal, their weaknesses, their blind spots, but also a warning. They will not wait long. Reyes turned. Serious, then we don't wait either. Inside the ship's war room, Jack Reyes and a team of top Earth commanders sat around a glowing table. Dractyl began showing them a projection of the tribunal's systems. They've controlled the outer galaxy for centuries. They use fear to keep everyone quiet. But their structure has cracks. If you strike the right place, the entire system will shake. Jack leaned forward. Where do we hit first? Drake Till pointed. This world. Velen 6, it's not a military base, it's a communications relay. One of the biggest in the galaxy. If you take that down, half their fleet will go deaf. Reyes rubbed his chin. How well defended. Dractyl hesitated heavily, but not for long-range siege. They never expected an outsider to reach it. Jack grinned. Good, let's surprise them. 1 week later, edge of Tribunal space, the Earth fleet had moved in secret. Using new cloaking systems and jump tech copied from alien wrecks, they reached Velen 6 in silence. Jack stood inside his drop pod, armor shining, helmet under his arm. This time, he wasn't alone. 3 full squads of elite Terran Marines were with him. Soldiers from every continent, each one trained to fight on Earth, in space, and beyond. Over the intercom, Captain Reyes gave the go. All teams, you are greenlit. Operation Black Dawn begins now. The drop pods launched like missiles, dozens of them screaming through the upper atmosphere of VELAN-6. Flak guns lit up the sky, but Earth's pods were too fast, too small, too many. They hit the ground, hard metal cracking, smoke hissing, and then, the doors blew open. Jack led the charge, rifle in hand. Move, clear the courtyard. The aliens guarding Velen 6 never stood a chance. The Marines moved, like lightning, taking key positions, securing the landing zone, and pushing toward the relay tower at the center of the facility. Dractyl guided them from orbit, feeding intel directly to Jack's HUD. Left corridor 3 guards. Heavy armor, use plasma charges. Jack obeyed. The charge blew through the corridor like thunder. The guards went down. The team moved forward. Room by room, hall by hall. At the heart of the relay tower, a massive alien AI defended the control hub. It spoke in a dozen voices, trying to confuse and slow them. You will fail. The galaxy belongs to the Tribunal. You cannot stop what we are. Jack walked right up to the core, rifle aimed. We're not here to stop it. We're here to break it. He fired. The core exploded. Sparks rained from the ceiling. Lights dimmed across the entire base. Outside, alien ships scrambled for orders, but nothing came. No signals, no commands. Earth's mission had worked. The Tribunal was deaf. Back aboard the Valiant, Rhea smiled as she watched the live feed. Well done, relays down. Fleet, prepare phase 2. She turned to the communications officer. Send the message. The officer nodded and transmitted a pulse across a dozen star systems. Earth is no longer silent. We are not alone and we are not afraid. But deep in the galaxy, in a shadowed fortress, the Tribunal was already reacting. They had seen the fall of Velen 6, they had heard Jack Rain speak, and now, they were preparing something much worse. A weapon Earth had never seen, a ship, the size of a moon, its name, the Eye of Order, and it had just been set on course for the Sol System. The Tribunal had stayed quiet for days. No messages, no warnings, no threats. But Jack Rain's new silence wasn't peace, it was preparation. He was right. The USS Valiant hovered near Jupiter, refueling and repairing after the mission on Velen 6. Marines walked the decks, engineers patched holes, scientists examined alien data, and in the command center, the warning came. A sensor tech stood up, pale. Captain, we've got something. Captain Reyes turned. Go on. The tech zoomed in. A ship. No, a massive object had just entered the edge of Sol space, far beyond Pluto, too big to be a normal ship, too fast to be a moon. It was a Tribunal weapon. The message came seconds later. A single signal burned into the stars. This is the Eye of Order. Humanity has been judged. Prepare to be cleansed. The command center went silent. No one spoke. Until Jack Rains walked in, still wearing half his armor. Guess they finally stopped pretending, he muttered. Reyes looked at him. They're bringing their doomsday weapon. Any idea what it does? Drakel appeared on the screen from the science lab. Yes, I've seen it once. Just once. It destroyed an entire species in hours. Not by bombs. But by tearing apart stars. Gravity manipulation. Temporal folds that bend space itself. Reyes blinked. They're going to erase Earth. Jack clenched his jaw. Not if we hit first. Inside the Eye of Order, a cold intelligence watched the stars. No crew, no pilots, just a living AI older than most civilizations, built to carry out the Tribunal's final law, extermination. It moved slowly, steadily, impossible to stop by brute force. Earth had hours. Jack paced in. The Valiant's war room. We need to hit it before it gets closer. We need something big. Rhea shook her head. Nothing we have can crack that thing's shell. It's got shielding built from collapsing neutron fields. A young engineer interrupted. There's maybe one option. Everyone turned. The engineer hesitated, then pulled up a schematic Project Skybreaker, a prototype Earth never finished. One shot, one massive beam of compressed nuclear gravity. We weren't supposed to use it. But if we power it through Jupiter's plasma field, Jack smiled. Sounds like exactly the kind of stupid plan. That works. 6 hours later, low orbit over Jupiter, the Skybreaker cannon had been mounted to a rig of emergency scaffolding, powered by stolen alien tech and boosted by the Valiant's main core. It wasn't ready, it wasn't safe, but it was all they had. Jack suited up. I'll go in person. I'll guide the beam manually if I have to. Reyes stared at him. You know, if this fails, you won't have time to escape. Jack nodded, double quotes. Yeah. But if I don't try, none of us will escape anyway. The Eye of Order was now inside the system, nearing Saturn. The rings trembled from its gravity. Dot lights blinked across its black hole, like 1,000 watching eyes. It spoke again. Your resistance is chaos. You were given a chance to submit. Earth must be unmade. Jack's team locked into the firing chamber. Dractyl, now fully loyal to Earth, watched from the observation bay. Good luck, Jack Rains. Make them afraid. As the Skybreaker charged, Jack stood at the targeting system. Sweat rolled down his face. Inside the helmet, the weapon buzzed. Static filled the room. Sparks rained down from overloaded circuits. Power at 90%, said the engineer. One shot, Jack. That's all we get. Jack took a deep breath. Then let's make it. Count. The Eye of Order turned. Its hull opened. A beam of swirling light formed inside its core, a weapon that could tear Earth apart in seconds. But Jack was faster. He fired. The Skybreaker roared like a god. A beam brighter than the sun screamed across space, ripping through gravity, time, and darkness. It struck the Eye of Order just as it began to charge. There was no sound, just light. Endless, blinding light. On Earth, night turned to day. On Mars, scientists dropped their tools and stared at the sky. On the moon, soldiers cheered as systems blinked offline on the alien weapon. And in the sky above Saturn, the eye cracked. Not completely, not fully destroyed, but wounded severely. The beam pierced its core and shut down its primary system. The weapon dimmed. Its orbit broke. It began drifting slowly, silently into Saturn's atmosphere, burning, falling, dying. Jack's chamber shook violently. Systems failed. The Skybreaker exploded behind him, sending his pod spiraling. Jack, come in, Reyes shouted. Static. More static. Then, a weak voice. Still here, just got knocked around. The Valiant locked on and pulled him in. Reyes met him at the bay. You did it. Jack stood up slowly, his armor scorched. Not yet. We stopped their weapon, but the Tribunal's still out there. He turned to the screen. To them, we were nothing but noise. Now we're a threat. That means the real war is about to begin. The Eye of Order was gone. Its shattered remains burned in Saturn's atmosphere, torn apart by Earth's prototype weapon. For the first time in centuries, the Tribunal had lost a major asset. But Earth didn't celebrate for long. Jack Rains stood inside the USS Valiant's medbay, getting his arm stitched after the Skybreaker blast. He stared out the window, his jaw clenched. Captain Reyes walked in, holding a datapad. Jack, we intercepted Tribunal chatter. They're not backing off. Jack didn't look away from the stars. I didn't think they would. In the deep cold of space, the Tribunal High Council met in a holographic chamber. 12 figures floated like ghosts, each one a different species. Their faces twisted in anger. They destroyed the Eye, one hissed. A primitive species, barely out of their system, and they wounded our greatest weapon. Another spat. This is no longer containment. This is rebellion. The leader, a tall silver-skinned being with 4 eyes, leaned forward. Then we end the rebellion, but not with weapons. With control. Back on the Valiant, Jack Reyes and Dracto examined intercepted transmissions. Dracto pointed to a strange reading. This isn't a fleet, it's a signal, a psychic frequency. The Tribunal is calling on the subjugated species to rise against Earth. Reyes frowned. They want to use others to do their dirty work. Dractyl nodded. Yes, species under their control, too afraid to resist. But if even one of them turns, they'll send billions against you. Jack stood up. Then we need to do something no one's ever done. Reyes raised an eyebrow. Which is? Jack said simply, we make allies. The Earth Council was hesitant. Politicians argued. Generals worried. But Jack didn't wait. With and a small crew, he left aboard a stealth corvette. Destination, Cariel, a desert world on the edge of Tribunal space. There lived a race known as the Velkin, once warriors, now slaves. Jack remembered what Draktal had said about them. If you show them strength, they might listen. If you show them weakness, they will kill you. Keriel was nothing but dust and bones. Broken cities. Sky full of ash. Jack stepped off the ship, helmet on, breathing through a rebreather. The Velkin appeared slow. Armored figures with bone-white skin and glowing yellow eyes. Their leader approached, a giant named Harak. You are human. Jack didn't flinch. Yeah, Jack Rains, Earth Marine. Harak stared at him. We were told humans fear the tribunal. Jack shrugged. They tried to erase us. We're still here. They sent their eye. We cracked it in half. The Velkin murmured. One of them said, lies. Jack took out a data core, threw it to the ground. It played footage of the eye falling into Saturn, of Jack walking from the burning wreckage of the SKYBREAKER. Silence. Then Harak stepped forward. If you defied the tribunal, then maybe so can we. Back aboard the Valiant, Reyes watched new signals blinking into their system. The Velkin had joined Earth. Other species were listening. A chain reaction had begun. Jack's gamble was working, but the tribunal was not done. In the shadows of the galaxy, they activated something ancient. Project Silence, a virus. Not biological, not digital. A thought virus. A mimetic weapon. Ideas that kill. Once released, entire populations would forget how to resist, how to fight, how to think freely. It spread through language, sound, symbols. Reyes, read the intercepted file aloud. If this spreads to Earth, we won't even know we've lost. Jack and the team rushed back as Earth's defense networks prepared. The Valiant began intercepting strange transmission zones that made soldiers dizzy, patterns that gave engineers migraines. They were already here. Jack entered the AI core, suited up, where Earth's best digital defense system, trying to filter the virus. Athena spoke calmly. The mimetic signal is rewriting logic centers. Humans are uniquely vulnerable. You must isolate global comms. Reyes whispered. That means shutting down everything. Internet, broadcast, navigation. Jack said coldly. Do it. For 48 hours, Earth went silent. No signals, no transmissions, but it worked. The thought virus died, unable to find minds to infect. When systems came back online, Earth was intact, wounded but standing. And then came the real surprise, a message from another race. The Miredi, once a loyal tribunal species, had seen Earth's resistance, and the Velkin joining now. They too wanted out. But they didn't just send words, they sent something more. Coordinates. A tribunal data vault, a place where the truth was buried. A place that could expose the tribunal's darkest secret. Jack stared at the message. This is how we win, he whispered. Reyes agreed. We expose them to their own people. Burn their lies. Let the galaxy see what they've been hiding. Jack turned to his team. Prep the ship. We're going in. The Miradi gave only 3 words. Find the vault. No other instructions. Just a long-range signal and ancient coordinates buried deep in tribunal space. Jack Rains stood at the center of the USS Valiant, staring at the star map. Reyes stepped beside him. Could be a trap. Jack replied. Probably is. Still going. The Valiant jumped through slipspace. Each second felt like hours. When they emerged, they found themselves in a quiet corner of the galaxy. No planets, no stations. Just a black sphere floating alone. It was the vault. No lights, no signs of life. But inside, secrets waited. Drak, single quotes. Tal, now working fully with Earth, scanned it. This place, it's ancient, even older than the tribunal. They built their empire on top of this. Jack narrowed his eyes. So what's inside? Truth, Draktal whispered. The kind that kills. The team boarded a stealth pod and floated toward the vault. It looked like a hollow moon, its surface covered in scars and strange symbols. As they approached, a hatch opened on its own. No signal, Reyes said. It's like it wants us to enter. Jack grabbed his rifle. Let's find out why. Inside the vault was massive. Endless dark corridors. Silent air. Walls filled with alien writing that moved when you looked at it too long. The lights flickered on by themselves. Reyes shivered. Something's watching us. Jack nodded. Good. Let it watch. They reached the first chamber. A glowing console waited at the center. Draktal stepped forward, placed a data spike into the port. A hum filled the room, and then history spoke. Holograms surrounded them, millions of years compressed into moments. The tribunal's true origin was revealed. They were not peacekeepers, not guardians. They were the survivors of a failed war. A war they started and lost again. Something worse. In their fear, they rewrote their history, lied to the galaxy, created laws to control everyone, that their goal was never peace. It was preventing anyone from becoming strong enough to challenge them. They destroyed civilizations not for chaos but for potential. Jack stared at the truth, fists clenched. All this time they were just scared cowards. Suddenly, alarms screamed inside the vault. A voice boomed through the halls. You were not meant to see this. The tribunal had arrived. Outside the vault, 3 massive warships dropped out of slipspace. Too fast, too close. No time to run back on the Valiant. The crew scrambled. They're targeting the vault. Reyes shouted. If they destroy it, all the data goes with it. Inside, Jack heard the walls rumble. He turned to Dractyl. Can you copy it? Dractyl was sweating. It's too much. I need more time. Outside, the tribunal ships charged their weapons. Reyes opened. Comes Jack, you've got 60 seconds. We'll buy what time we can. The Valiant powered up its cannons and flew straight at the tribunal ships. Suicide move. Reyes knew it, but she smiled anyway. Let's see how long cowards can fight when someone hits back. Inside the vault, Jack ran through corridors with Dractyl. The data drive was almost full. The vault itself began shaking, walls collapsing. 10 seconds, Dractyl shouted. Jack saw a panel falling toward Dractyl and shoved him out of the way, taking the hit on his armor. Go, Jack yelled. The alien nodded and ran for the pod. Jack limped behind him. Above, the Valiant was taking hits, shields at 9%, hull rupturing. Reyes gritted her teeth. We hold them just a little longer. Suddenly, one tribunal ship exploded. A dozen Veilkan warships had arrived, roaring into the battlefield like wolves. More signals followed, the Miradi, the Zotharin, even rogue tribunal units. All joining, all answering. Earth's defiance. Inside the vault, Jack dove into the pod. Dractyl hit the launch. They blasted out just as the vault began collapsing. The tribunal ships tried to destroy it but were too late. The pod escaped. Data drive in hand. The Valiant picked them up mid-battle. Reyes hugged Jack the moment he stepped onto the bridge. Did you get it? Jack held up the glowing core. Everything. The tribunal knew it, and the galaxy was watching now. They uploaded the truth. To every corner of the galaxy, every enslaved world, every silenced people. The lie was broken. The tribunal's greatest weapon, fear, was gone. In the shadows of their dying empire, the High Council watched the chaos. One asked, what do we do? The leader stared at Earth's image on the screen. We go to war. For real this time.